Coming up next,
Ed Kalegi and Caryn Richman. This is Chatterbinge.
There you are. You're standing next to someone, or you're looking at your phone, and you get this invitation out of nowhere. They want you to come to a dinner or a night out somewhere, just some sort of social event. And you're thinking to yourself, I don't want any part of this. I really don't want to go there. For whatever reason, it's just not for you. Caryn, help me here. I don't want to go to this dinner. I don't want to hang out with these people. I'm not a terrible person. It's just not for me. What do I do?
As if I am the expert. Ed.
Yes, you are.
I have such an ethical dilemma because I find more and more that I actually don't necessarily want to be as social as I was in the older days.
Wow.
I'm not sure if this is post-COVID, where we were so isolated. I talked to a lot of people about this, that all of a sudden there was this huge transition to being out and about all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, saying yes to everything. And then we all had this experience of the world closing in and being by ourselves, and sort of got more used to spending alone time and becoming more on our own. And now that we got back to life, how do you tell a fib? Do
Yes.
you say the truth?
No.
Is, geez, I don't feel like it, a good enough excuse?
No, you can't do that. No, it's too ambiguous. You can't just say that. There has to be a long story. I mean, I'm talking like 5-episode miniseries type of story. You got to really lay this thing out there. It has to be textured. There has to be a beginning. There has to be an arc, and there has to be a conclusion to it. But the problem is when you do that and you create this giant work of fiction, this piece of literature that will live in your mind forever, you got to remember it, because what happens when you see that person again about 6, 7, 8 months down the line? You got to have instant recall. So if you're going to do that, you have to build that in so that it's in a very easily accessible part of your mind, Caryn. You may need it at a moment's notice.
Your brain is so creative that I think you have more trouble than many people might. But I think you have to write it down. You have to take notes. Nobody writes anymore. But I think you need to have a little file on your computer of what excuses you used for which.
Really?
Okay.
Note to America. I think she just said I'm a good liar. I think that's what that comes down to.
In the most positive way. What would your go-to excuse be? Because I have told intricate sort of stories, because sometimes you'll mention something and then there'll be questions. And then you're fibbing over fibbing over fibbing. How can you? You're caught in a lie and you're tap dancing through it when you get caught. What are some of your go-to, don't mean to put you on the spot, but you're so good with this.
You're going to do it anyway. Okay.
Like, yeah, why not? It's entertaining. Give me an example, let's say. I say to you, Ed Kalegi, I'm having this wonderful party, and I'd love you to come on Friday night.
Well, Friday night's going to be a problem. I have this aunt, and I'm down here in Metuchen. She lives way up in Bergen County. She can't get to the store. I mean, for her to be able to go and stand there and scan her own groceries on a Friday, that's just not going to happen. So I just need to be there for her. I would love to do this. If there's a rain check in any way, but I would feel terrible. I'm having a good time with you, and she's up there, just her and her cats, and the cats can't go shopping for her. So I have to do this. So I'll have to politely decline.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What is wrong with your aunt?
Well, it's been going on for a while. It kind of started as kind of a minor thing, but she has this trick knee, and it just can go out, and it went out. If you've ever had a trick knee, it's an absolutely terrible thing to do. It can just kind of like veer off in one direction, and you don't even know what's going on. So the last thing I would need is for her to have her trick knee just kind of go off on its own. She's at the supermarket, and the cats are home alone. It's a big mess. I just can't have it. She needs me.
Oh my gosh, you definitely need to take notes. Your poor aunt, I hope she feels better. You did that.
Boy, I literally cracked you up. She is wiping tears from her eyes from underneath her glasses right now. This is wonderful. I love this.
You are hilarious. And I understand why you have more of a problem now, because a simple, gee, I'm sorry, I have another invitation does not suffice for everybody.
That's right.
It is.
She just said I'm a much better liar than she even thought I was 5.5 minutes ago.
In the best possible way.
Really?
Seriously.
Okay. Well, thank you.
No, that was very funny. So thank you. Thank you for that offering. But you really raise a good point. And
I
my
do.
question
Yeah.
is, why can't we just say, geez, I'm not really excited about that. I mean, you can't say it in those words, but
Wow.
is there a world that we can live in where we can honestly say to someone, I don't know, I saw a t-shirt or something that says, I'm not coming because I don't want to? No, that sounds awful the way I just said it. Forget that. Now that goes into a whole other tangent.
There's the earworm that's going to stay with me for the rest of the day.
Forget that. But there's something I saw on social media that said, I'm not showing up. Let's use that term.
Okay, that's a better way to do that. Yeah.
Because I don't feel like it, or I'm ruining this. But the point is, can we live in a world where people do not get offended by us just saying, gosh, thanks for including me. I don't really feel like doing that.
I just don't want to do that. I'm not up to it. Can you just say that? Because are you then afraid that even though you don't want this invitation, that then if you are that blatantly honest with someone, there will never be another invitation proffered to you for the rest of your life, at least from that person? I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. Maybe that's why I'm coming up with this whole thing about Frida and the trick knee and the cat can't go shopping. I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I've made my own life worse because now I got to remember this whole story 6 months down the line.
First of all, I think the operative motivation, at least for me, is not to hurt feelings. I don't really think of, they're not going to include me in the future because if I come up with a good enough excuse, they're going to buy it and include me again at some other time. But I guess the question is, how do you feel when people don't, bow out of an invitation that you extend? Is your radar up? Are you thinking...
Yes.
So
why don't they really want to go? Yes. And you know what? Because if you're looking at them in the eye and if you sense that for some reason they may be telling the fib, if all of a sudden, they're covering their mouths when they're talking to you or they're looking away when they're giving you this excuse, it's a BS story. They just don't want to go. And I'm almost compelled to say, come on, you just don't want to go. I got 2 tickets to the Mets game on Thursday. You don't want to go? Just tell me. Don't come up with all this. Just let me know you don't want to spend the evening with me. It's okay. I'm a big boy. I've been let down before. I'll be let down again. Just say it. Be honest with me.
So you feel like we take it personally.
Yes.
And I think that's probably, I wonder though if we do. I mean, yes, I know we're joking around and we're saying, yes, of course we take it personally in certain situations, but there's plenty of situations where I really honestly wouldn't take it personally.
No.
And I see someone struggling. If you don't want to go, I'm going to move on to another friend. Or, I suppose there are situations that I would take personally if it's something very important to me and people are making excuses. Yes. But I guess I wonder if people are as sensitive to that as we think they are.
I think if the more honest we are, the less sensitive they would become. Because if I were to look at you in the eye and say, Caryn, I don't want to go. I had a really bad week at work. It's been terrible. I really don't feel that good. I just don't feel like going out. I don't think I'm going to be much company. I really appreciate the chance. Maybe we'll do it some other time. If you look at somebody in the eye and if you tell them really what's going on in your life, if it's other than, I just don't like you and I don't want to be anywhere with you. But if you just don't feel like doing it, I think a very quick, honest response would be very appreciated. I know we've kidded around a lot about this, but honesty is the best policy. And the more direct that honesty is, I think the more effective it works. But there are exceptions to the rule. Are you immune from responsibility? If you get an invitation, let's say on a Friday at, 5 p.m. for a dinner party, and let's say it's taking place Saturday at 7, can you then simply make anything up to say no because you realize that you're getting the invite 26 hours before the event to a dinner party? So you are at best a plan B invite. You're essentially being asked to be a dinner party background actor at that point, almost like when they need to just fill people in at the Grammys so Crypto.com Arena looks full when it's on CBS that night. So are you then justified to just lie, make that big story up because you are somebody's plan B?
Or...
Yeah.
Does it sound like fun and go anyway, even knowing that? Because sometimes you understand that you're not in the top 10 for that
Wow.
particular.
You would still go. You would still go to that.
If I thought it would be fun, I don't know. Maybe this is a moving along in life thing, but I don't take offense if I'm not somebody's priority unless they are a priority to me. I think we'd have to dive deeper to see who this is. If it's a very dear close friend and you were left out, that's a very different dynamic than, somebody who might be more of an acquaintance or someone you don't know quite as well.
But whatever the situation, what if you make up this whole big story about, remember my Aunt Frida and her trick knee? And she's fine. She never really had a trick knee. But what if 2 weeks down the road, all of a sudden you get a phone call, Aunt Frida has knee trouble. Yes, it's been diagnosed as a trick knee. Talk about karma.
It's the Kalegi curse.
The Kalegi curse. We never knew there was such a thing. See, we invent different things on this show every single week. I'm Ed Kalegi.
And I'm Caryn Richman.
This is Chatterbinge.
And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can always catch our best guest conversations and segments right here on the YouTube home of Chatterbinge.